boys, that comic book market, it's looking a little different than it did a few months ago. I feel like it's starting to come back down to earth just a little bit. A lot of books. What did you guys notice recently?
Yeah, I mean, how much higher could have went? I guess it depends on the book, though, right? I know all the mutant and X-Men books came down a little bit. There was all hype of, a mutant that was supposedly going to pop in WandaVision, that was going to pop in Falcon Winter Soldier. We didn't see any, and they cooled off a little bit, but for how long, fellas?
That Agatha effect, right?
Yep.
Maybe those baseball guys ran out of money. Those baseball card guys. Listen, that had an effect on it. Like we had a lot of baseball card people, soccer cards, whatever cards you wanted to get. These guys got all excited about comic books for a couple of months right there, and all of a sudden you saw shit skyrocket like crazy. I think they were just jumping in and buying something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And spending money.
Well, we talk about it all the time. When COVID first hit, back in March of 2020, I thought the market was going to take a nosedive and we were going to be able to grab books on the cheap, but it was the total opposite. Books absolutely skyrocketed. But in my opinion, I think that's what brought speculation to its all-time high, because collectors were looking at the next book that's going to, doing their research and looking for the next big book before it pops. And man, everything got hot.
Yeah. I mean, books were at an all-time high, and sometimes it was not for any reason, right? Like every well-known speculation book was just hot, right? Forget about the X-Men and shit. The GSX one, the X-Men one, the FF ones, those went through the roof. I mean, I feel like all X-Men keys have come down like 20% or better.
Yeah.
Since the end of March, beginning of April. WandaVision really created, I think we were all clamoring for so long for something to show up that we were just, everybody was doing it, right? We're specking on everything. We're like, oh, it could be this, it could be that. And people were just buying everything in. You add in, like Guy said, the sports market, the sports cards. Some investors came in, that just people that had money. They're like, oh, this looks like a good thing to invest in. It just brought the prices crazy. And I kind of called it a couple of months ago. I said, people were saying, oh, it's going to crash. It's going to crash. People love to say it's going to crash. And I said, I don't think it's going to crash, but I feel like the books that deserve don't deserve to be where they are, those are going to come back down. But the books that are that are on the forefront, the books that are either a series came out or a show came out or a new comic series came out, those are the ones that are going to stay hot, as long as it's good. If people like the character, people like the show, people like the comic, people like the movie, that book's going to stay up there. We saw what happened after Black Widow. Some books went up and some books came down. Taskmaster went right down. Yelena Belova, though, keeps going up. So
that shows you something about like what happens in the movie, like has an effect as well. Because I don't think people bringing the movie aspect into it, which I love to do. I don't think people were happy about what the frig went on in that movie. I know I'm sitting there looking at Taskmaster. I'm going, I don't get why we did this. It is what it is, but Yelena Belova stole the show. The show. She was unbelievable. The actress did a wonderful job, and she's the future. And we all know what happened with Scarlett.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
She kind of got a little upset and kind of buried herself at that point. We know she wasn't going to be around anyway, but try and go out on a high note, in my opinion, but I guess not.
Yeah, and listen, we still see certain characters trending up. Doom books, they're not coming back down, right? We haven't even seen the green cape yet, and those books
are these just because they're iconic characters?
Yeah, it could be.
Like, is that why? Like that they don't really go anywhere because they always stay there because they're these iconic. You know more about this than me, so
I think it's a bit of both. And I think some of the books that really went high did, even like the iconic ones, did come down. Like I want to say X-Men 1, the all-time high. It sold. It was selling for more in April than it is now. You know, didn't come back down as much as like some of the other X-Men keys. Like X-Men 1 is still X-Men 1, but even GSX 1, you know, Jay has a high grade copy, so we were, you know, paying attention to the sales, and we know what they were going for at one point and what they kind of came back down to life a little bit. Don't get me wrong, still much higher than it was February 2021 or even the beginning of March 2021, but yeah, I think we're at an interesting point with the market right now where things have leveled off a bit, right? A new floor has been set for a lot of books. We're way off the ceiling. I don't want to say way off, but we're a good amount off the ceiling of where these books were. Now there's a new floor. Now the question is when these books actually have some steam behind them, right? I know some people hate when we talk about, you know, the movies and the shows, but that's what drives prices. 90% of the time. I love it when a comic series drives the price, but we're not going to always get that. Sometimes we will, sometimes we won't, but we know those movies and the shows drive the price. It's just 90% of the time that's what happens. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when we see this Hawkeye series and they start talking about Young Avengers and the America Chavez book, you know, with Miss Marvel. Like, are these books going to go right back to that high? Are they going to pass that high? Because all those books are a bit down. Like, there was only 1 or 2 sales at like the high price because people really started going nuts. But are we going to hit that price again, Jay? Are we going to go past that price, Guy? What do you, I don't know. I think you're going to go past it. I think it's just a matter of how much we go past it.
I think we go past it too. And like you said, everything cooled off now. Young Avengers, right, cooled off a little bit. But you know what didn't cool off? We just got a reminder of Moon Knight. We seen him in costume. Look where that book is now. All it took was a leaked photo of Moon Knight in costume, and look where that book went. And I still think that book's going to skyrocket when the show comes out, because I personally think that show is going to be the best show that Disney Plus does. And listen, that Werewolf by Night 32 is going through the roof right now. And then the next show, what comes out next, Matt?
We got Hawkeye.
The Hawkeye books.
Hawkeye's next. Yeah.
Kate Bishop's going to go up. It all depends what these characters do on the show. And listen, collectors, we all know once the show ends, those books plummet back down. We've seen it with WandaVision. We've seen it with Falcon Winter Soldier. It's just what happens. We've seen it with Loki, you know?
Well, we'll see, right? We'll see. It depends how much that I was going to say that depends how much people like what they see, right? You know, Black Widow came out. People like what they seen with Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh. That book is not going down. I feel like it's just pew, pew. It keeps going. I feel like every sale is almost a new high. So if you're a speculator, I think you just got to be careful. Like, you have to make an assumption: is this show or is this movie going to be good? Because do I sell now? Do I sell after? I think a lot of times it's going to be a roll of dice, right? I mean, so some of these characters have a long future in the MCU. Okay,
so here's a perfect one, I think, as an example for this, and I think you both have good points on it. But like, the movies fluctuate these things when they bring out. Like, look what happened with Moon Knight. You got a picture of the costume, and all of a sudden, the book is crazy as it is, right? So now it's getting even crazier. Okay, let's talk about Venom for a second. And do we see how? Are we excited for Venom right now? Are we looking at the trailer going, "Oh my God, this is going to be terrible"? Are we saying, "Okay, well, Woody Harrelson, he's cool. This is going to be awesome"? Is Carnage going to go up again? Like, what do you guys think about that? Because I'm obviously hearing mixed reviews on what people think about this movie. So now you have a movie that some people are excited for, and some people are not excited for. So you have that kind of like middle of the line kind of character that, you know what? Are these books going to go up or what?
So here's my opinion on that. Listen, the comic community bashed the trailer, right? There wasn't too many people that liked the trailer. Here's my thing. I think books will go up more. Marvel books will go up more if it's MCU. If it's an MCU book. If Carnage and Venom were in the MCU, right? First of all, they would probably be done a lot better. And second of all, I think those books would skyrocket. They're with Sony now. We have Marvel haters that hate on Sony. Listen, a comic book movie is a comic book movie. But everything that happens in the MCU, that's what drives the prices up, in my opinion. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's what drives the prices up the most. We know because we've seen characters prior to MCU and then now in the MCU, and we see all new highs, right? So I agree with what you said there. And then I think, Guy, some characters, though, are kind of immune from going too far down, right? Carnage and Venom, these books aren't going to they're not going to plummet. We saw what happened with Taskmaster. See ya. Carnage and Venom, no matter what happens, those books are on firm ground. I think it's just a matter of how high do they go or do they not go, But it's funny that, Jay, you said that with the MCU because I know we're not talking about this, but I got to bring it up. I heard something that basically is connecting the dots that leads me to believe that Venom, Carnage, and even Morbius are going to have a connection to the MCU.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a line that's drawn sooner than later. Not that we're going to see them in MCU movies, but something that's going to let us know that they are part of the MCU universe.
And you don't think it has something to do? You don't think it has something to do with Michael Keaton?
Listen, there's stuff we can tell you, and there's stuff we can't. That's all I'm going to say on that one. So, you know what? I think I like the fact that we're back to a time where you have to be a smart speculator. Before, you could literally, like in March, April, May, and even probably into June, you could literally close your eyes.
You tripped over a spec.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Now you got to get back to doing the work.
Now it takes work.
Due diligence. Be smart. Know when to hold. Know when to sell. If you're speculating, right? I mean, that's not everybody's game. Some people just want to get the book because they want it for their PC. So you still have to know the right time to buy. Right? What did Kenny Rogers say, guy?
I was just gonna. You read my mind. I go. I love when we sit here and we have discussions and we break out in music and you got to know when to hold. Know when to fold them. Know when to walk away.
Look what the market is doing. Look what the market's doing at these cons, guys. Sellers, right? Vendors. Their books are marked way over GPA because they're afraid. They're afraid of characters going to pop,
Yeah.
That they know. They see what happens. These guys, if you're buying books at a show, it's going to be over GPA without a doubt. Unless, like Matt and Guy said, you find a spec book or a character that's not hot. That's why I grabbed the Iron Fist. That's why we grabbed the Luke Cage, right? Because they're out of the limelight right now. But other than that, to me, the market's still high. It came down a little bit.
It's high. Yeah.
But compared to where it was 2 years ago, but pre-COVID, it's probably tripled, if not quadrupled.
It'll be interesting. I think it'll be an interesting, it's so funny. We see Shang-Chi's coming out, right? And people saw the first trailer and the book definitely jumped on the trailer, right? That was a book that was, we were probably stupid for not buying more copies because it sat there after the original announcement, and it just sat there. It didn't keep going up like some of the other books. It just sat there. Trailer came out. It popped a little bit. People were skeptical. But now that people have seen it,
wow,
people are loving it. 9 times out of 10, you're going to see what happens. So these are the things, as a speculator, you got to pay attention to. Yeah. Watch what happens when a good movie comes out. Watch what happens, whether it's a good movie or not, a good character comes out. See what that book does.
Even a good actor. Honestly, right. We all knew about Yelena Belova, right?
Yeah,
we all knew about Yelena Belova. We knew what was going to happen. We knew she was taking over. We discussed this, and then all of a sudden, you have a movie, and this girl killed it. She was the best part of that movie.
Yeah, well, and that brings me to this guy. Scared money don't make money, right? Listen, we all knew Kang was coming. If you watched anything, you knew Kang was coming. He was coming. He was coming. He was coming. We knew the whole time. And then once he appeared,
Benny didn't know Kang was coming. So,
if you watched us last year, somebody said something about Immortus and the Timekeepers, but I don't remember who that was.
I don't know who watches us, but
Matty Forge is way ahead of the jump on that.
Way ahead. But I enjoy these monthly discussions, guys. I like when we can just sit back.
I do too.
Talk amongst ourselves with nobody else here. nobody to hear us really, unless we post the video and they watch it. But you know what? It's nice to sit back and kick back and relax, catch a contact.
Defects Discuss. We just did our little talk. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comment. We'd like to talk. We want to hear what you have to say. Give a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. We appreciate all of you. Obviously, you guys know, if you don't know, we got that Vampirella exclusive out with us. These mugs on the cover. Link in the description. Go check it out. At least give it a look. If you can back it, we appreciate you. If you can, we just appreciate you watching. Guy and Jay are doing, I think, the sign language version of this outro. So I'm going to leave it there. We will catch you on the next video.